Hello and welcome to Live at PALS. Today we will continue with our GED Science questions. This is screencast number 3, going over a couple of GED Science practice questions. We are still with life science questions, and in the last screencast we stopped on question 24. So we will continue with 25. We'll do around 10 questions today. Try to keep it short and simple. And yeah, let's get started. So, number 25. Lung tissue is damaged when exposed to smoke over a prolonged period of time. When lung tissue is damaged, less oxygen enters the bloodstream from the lungs. Suppose that a smoker and a non-smoker begin an exercise program. Compared with the non-smoker, what would the smoker most likely experience during mild exercise? A more rapidly beating heart, less need to rest frequently, muscles tiring more slowly, a slower breathing rate. So the smoker would probably have a little bit more, would be a bit more exhausted to do the same exercise as a non-smoker, because as we see in the text here, when lung tissue is damaged, less oxygen enters the bloodstream from the lungs. That means that the heart eventually has to work harder to bring enough oxygen to the cells that need it during exercise. So therefore the correct answer is A here, a more rapidly beating heart. All other three basically refer to the opposite. These are things that the non-smoker would experience probably compared to the smoker. Less need to rest frequently, muscles tiring more slowly, and a slower breathing rate. So the correct answer is A here. Which fact is least relevant to the relationship between the consumption of alcohol and good health? Which fact is least relevant? Alcohol affects some body organs more than others. 1 can of beer contains the same amount of alcohol as 1 glass of wine. 70% of drivers killed in one-car accidents had been drinking alcohol shortly before the accident. Alcohol intake by pregnant women may harm the fetus. Least relevant to the relationship between alcohol and good health. So these 3 answers here all relate to some extent to health, whereas answer B is a comparison of the amount of alcohol in beer and wine. So therefore the correct answer is B. This is probably least relevant for the relationship between alcohol and good health. So the next set of questions, 27 to 29, refers to the following information. 2 million Americans suffer from some form of epilepsy. Epilepsy is a disorder of nerve cells in the brain. Normally, nerve cells in the brain produce electrical signals that flow through the nervous system and activate body muscles. However, during an epileptic seizure, these cells release abnormal bursts of electric energy that the brain cannot control. In the most severe type of epileptic seizure, people may lose consciousness, fall and shake. This type of seizure often lasts several minutes. In a milder form, people may lose awareness of their surroundings, but do not fall or lose consciousness. Scientists do not understand the cause of epilepsy, but they do know that it cannot be spread from one person to another. Moreover, doctors are now able to treat epilepsy with drugs that either reduce the frequency of seizures or prevent them entirely. Most people who have epilepsy can now lead normal lives. So, quickly analyzing the paragraphs a little bit. Up here we get some information about what epilepsy is and the biology behind it, how the seizures are caused. Then the second paragraph is probably comparing different types of epilepsy and their severeness, also severe type and milder form compared here, and below is a little bit about the understanding of epilepsy today and possible treatments. So, which of the following is the best description of an epileptic seizure? So that relates probably to paragraph 3. A temporary loss. Oh, sorry, description. No, that probably relates to 1 or 2. Not prescription, a description. Temporary loss of body control due to an electric disturbance in the brain. A permanent loss of body control due to an electric disturbance in the brain. An electric disturbance in the brain caused by a loss of body control, an injury to the body caused by a fall that occurs because of a brain malfunction. So we can definitely exclude D. The fall does not cause injury to the body caused by a fall. That's not what it is. No, epilepsy relates to the seizure. An electrical disturbance in the brain caused by loss of body control. No, that's the other way around. The electrical disturbance causes loss of body control potentially, so we can exclude that as well. It should be the other way around. And then the question is it a temporary loss of body control or is it a permanent loss of body control due to electrical disturbances in the brain? And we should know from our reading that the seizure is only temporary, can last several minutes, but it's definitely not permanent. So therefore we can exclude B as well, and A must be the correct answer. Which phrase is least descriptive of epilepsy? Electrical disturbance in the brain, that is definitely correct about epilepsy. A contagious disease, that is probably the correct answer. We learned from paragraph 3. What do we know about epilepsy nowadays? Our understanding of epilepsy is that it cannot be spread from one person to another. So here is the answer to question 28. Quick look at the other options to make sure that this is definitely correct. Often accompanied by seizures. Yes. Cause of seizures characterized by loss of body control. Yes, that can be the case as well. So, which of the following can be most properly inferred from the information in the second paragraph? Again, about the different types. Mild seizures are nothing to worry about. Severe seizures cause death. I think we can exclude both of them. Severe seizures do not cause death, definitely not every time. Symptoms of a seizure may vary. Yes, now we have severe and mild form. Mild seizures only last a few seconds to a minute. We do not get any information about the duration of mild seizures. So therefore C is the correct answer. Question 30 and 31. Dr. Parkerson performs a simple test on a patient by holding a small ball and having her patient hold one hand beneath it. The doctor then releases the ball and the patient attempts to grab the ball in his fist. What is the experiment above most likely designed to test? The hand strength or the strength of gravity, the weight of the ball, or reaction time? Small ball and having the patient hold one hand beneath it. The doctor releases the ball and the patient attempts to catch or grab the ball while it is falling, probably catching it before it hits the ground or goes past the hand. So this is probably a reaction time test. Which activity done prior to the test would most likely influence a person's ability to perform well on this test? Eating vegetables. Does eating vegetables affect reaction time? I don't think so. Drinking alcohol, that could definitely affect reaction time. Playing computer games, I don't think that playing computer games prior to the test, maybe if you play a lot of computer games, then you might have a better reaction time in your hand, but not just a random person playing a computer game before the test. That will not have an effect on the reaction time. So I guess we can exclude that too. And talking on the phone while doing the test, that would probably affect the reaction time, but again, it tells us done prior to the test, which means done before the test. Prior to means before. So therefore, drinking alcohol before the test, alcohol definitely severely affects the reaction time of a person. This is why driving is so dangerous as well. And yeah, that is the correct answer. Next two questions are gap fills, and it relates to homeostasis, negative and positive feedback. So what is homeostasis? Homeostasis refers to the ability of cells or body systems to keep a stable internal environment as the external environment changes. Cells and body systems monitor their internal environment and adjust the internal conditions if a change occurs. These adjustments may be made through a negative feedback system or a positive feedback system. A negative feedback system is a process in which an initial change will bring about an additional change in the opposite direction. So it reverses the change. Negative feedback reverses a change, an initial change. Positive feedback system is a process in which an initial change will bring about an additional change in the same direction. So it is enhancing the initial change, making it even stronger. Two examples, and we probably need to write negative or positive feedback into the blank. When skin is cut and blood vessels get damaged, platelets start clinging to the injured side and release chemicals that attract more platelets. The platelets continue piling up and releasing chemicals until a clot is formed. So, if we think about the change that is happening here, there's a cut in the skin, and the change here, that is already the start of the change, and as well that platelets are clinging to the injured side and release chemicals. So that's our initial change. So what happens after? The chemicals that are released attract more platelets. So therefore, more platelets will release more chemicals overall, which will attract even more platelets, releasing even more chemicals, and so on. So we see we have that the initial change of a few platelets clinging to the injured side brings about additional change in the same direction. More and more platelets are coming. So therefore, this is an example of positive feedback. About the second example. When the blood sugar level in a person's blood rises, receptors in the body sense a change. The pancreas, in return, secretes insulin into the bloodstream, which lowers the blood sugar level. This can be referred to as, this is definitely negative feedback. So why is it negative feedback? We have the initial change, which is the blood sugar level in a person's blood rises, and the initial change or the negative feedback will bring about an additional change in the opposite direction, lowering the blood sugar level. So initially we have an increase in blood sugar level, and then the blood sugar level is lowered. So therefore this is an example of negative feedback. The Gaia hypothesis. proposed in the 1970s by British scientist James Lovelock, proposes that Earth behaves as a single living organism. According to this theory, Earth regulates its own temperature, provides itself with resources needed for life, disposes of its own wastes, and fights off disease. The Gaia hypothesis is an extension of the concept of homeostasis. Individual organisms exhibit homeostasis, as do communities of organisms that form an ecosystem. The Gaia hypothesis applies the concept of homeostasis to Earth itself and views it as a single self-regulating system. Which of the following is least likely to be classified as an example of homeostasis? A hormone regulation in plants, cell growth in plants, surrogate parenting, warming effect of Earth's atmosphere. So I would probably know. So hormones, we just saw the example of insulin in humans. So that is definitely homeostasis. Cell growth in plants, that is probably homeostasis as well. If the plant receives more light, or there's an opening in the canopy, it will probably increase its growth and grow towards the light more. So therefore cell growth can be seen as a homeostatic response. Surrogate parenting, that is probably not homeostasis. Warming effect of Earth's atmosphere, that is some kind of feedback loop as well. More carbon dioxide is released, or in general more greenhouse gases are released, and this causes then the changing effect on the warming of the atmosphere. So that is probably not related to it's related to homeostasis, whereas surrogate parenting definitely not. Surrogate parenting is a product of progress made in the science of reproduction. Each other choice is a direct result of nature's design, and they are processes that have not changed. So, 35. According to the Gaia hypothesis, which of the following would most likely harm Earth to the greatest degree? Lightning-caused fires in the tropical rainforests, several earthquakes along major fault lines on each continent, collision with a large asteroid, or volcanic eruptions along the rim of the Pacific Ocean. The most severe would probably be the asteroid, I would guess. No, it's a large asteroid. That could be a event that causes some kind of mass extinction event, like with the dinosaurs, whereas the others are definitely not nice as well and can cause severe damage, but not such a cataclysmic event like a large asteroid colliding with Earth. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you for joining in. I hope I could help you to prepare for your GED science test. Another video will come soon, continuing with the questions here to get you all prepared. And yeah, see you next time and have a great day.